A weapon may have killed Mr. Charlie Kirk, but it could never kill what he carried in his heart. We're about to talk about the kind of strength that no bullet can touch. The strength of a heart anchored in God, love, and forgiveness. And here's the paradox. Hate can take a life, but it can never conquer love. That's why forgiveness matters, because it holds a power that weapons and hate can never defeat. Forgiveness is the most powerful energy here on this earth, even in the midst of hate and division. Our nation is currently divided. Even Christians are divided. And Jesus warned us about this in Matthew chapter 10, verse 10, where it says, brother will betray a brother and a father betray a child, because the division that comes from either choosing Jesus or rejecting Jesus. I currently believe that a shift has happened where there's been a line drawn into the sand. You either are standing with God or standing against him. Now, that alone is naturally going to bring a dividing line in our relationships. And in the Bible, we read about Jesus saying, do not be unequally yoked. What does that mean? In the biblical times, two oxen were yoked together to pull a weight. However, both oxen had to have the same strength and move at the same pace in the same direction. If they didn't go in the same direction or at the same strength or pace, there would be conflict. You could not carry the load. When there's different beliefs, especially when it comes to believing in Jesus or not believing in Jesus, it makes it very difficult when values don't align to do life with someone. But just because you don't do life with someone on a daily basis doesn't mean that they're not deserving of respect and kindness. Disagreement is not the problem. Division is. And division is always a choice. In my belonging to Christ, he has given me an amazing choice. I can have the power to choose love even with my enemies. I can disagree with you and you can disagree with me without me being threatened by it, because I am not looking at you for my significance, my acceptance, or my identity. Jesus has already given me that. So your differing opinion does not threaten me. It does not move me off my security, my significance, or my place of belonging. You see, the same breath of God that breathed his breath of life inside my lungs also breathed in yours. And we also have the same color of blood. We all bleed red. The hardest part of forgiveness is when you face false accusations, deep betrayals, gossip, and slander. In the call that God has placed over my life, I get attacked very frequently. Speaking the truth makes people feel incredibly uncomfortable. You see, darkness likes to hide in the shadows, and when you put the light on it, there's nowhere to hide. Now, forgiveness does not mean tolerating abuse or being in harm's way, but it does mean choosing to bless instead of curse, to pray instead of hate, to love instead of retaliate. We have a powerful choice of whether to contribute to the chaos or to usher in peace. If you've ever seen someone walk in authority, they are walking calmly and steadily in peace. The ones who aren't for sure where to go or who they are rushing around trying to figure out what they're going to do. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, verse 8, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. I cannot see him or hear him without my purity of heart. I want to be able to hear his voice behind me saying, this is the way, walk in it. And purity of heart requires having a forgiving heart. Forgiveness does cost us something, our pride, but we gain everything: freedom, peace, and nearness with God. Forgiveness is like the circulation of blood in the body. Blood carries oxygen and nutrients to every cell, keeping the body alive. But when unforgiveness enters, it's like a clot in the bloodstream. The flow gets blocked. Parts of the body grow weak and damaged and potentially die if the blockage is not removed. Unforgiveness is like a clot in our bloodstream. It blocks the life of the love of God freely flowing. But forgiveness breaks it up and restores life. You see, I believe that is a secret weapon that Mr. Charlie Kirk walked in. Not only did he remain respectful in his debate and his arguments with people that did not have the same belief system, but he would not look to the left or to the right when it came to the call of God on his life. He didn't worry about what you said or I said about him or about what the news stations were reporting. He stayed steady on doing what he knew God had called him to do. To remain faithful in the face of retaliation takes strength, much more strength than retaliation. When you choose to forgive, you're not just letting someone off the hook. You are stripping evil of its power. You are overcoming wrong with love. Because in the end, forgiveness is not weakness, it's warfare. And love will always be the weapon that wins.